was visiting home, my father, when I was at college, and this girl had been attacked. She was walking home from a bus stop at night, and she was grabbed by two men, and she thought she was being punched in the stomach, and she managed to escape and ran to the road. And when she got to the road under the streetlight, she realised she was covered in blood and she'd actually been stabbed. And that story kind of stayed with me for a long time. She was the same age as me, and it happened close to where I'd lived, and I thought I knew where it had happened, and it just seemed just such an awful story. And for a long time I thought that I might be able to incorporate some elements of that into a story, and when I started to write Beyond Fear, my first novel, I thought that was an opportunity to use some elements of that in the story, and of course it became a large element with the main character experiencing something similar. Beyond Fear is set in an area that's about an hour and a half from where I live. It's outside of the cities, and so you have to actually drive a little way off the main highway to get to it, and it's just a beautiful setting. Very small villages, although we don't call them villages in Australia, they're towns. In amongst rolling hills, so the beautiful green rolling hills with the little towns set in the valleys. And the particular setting for this story I came up with years before. My husband and I took our children to a rodeo with bulls and horses, and it's not something that we had ever done before or ever again, but we sat in this little town with the rodeo going on, and the beautiful houses, little timber houses, and old buildings, and these beautiful rolling hills, and I kept thinking to myself, this is such a great setting for a story. And when I started to write the crime story, I kept thinking about this place, and in the end I thought, you know, it's such a beautiful, picturesque place. It's the perfect place for something really awful to happen. I think the unexpectedness of it can add to the feeling of the book. You're in a beautiful place, and you don't expect anything bad to happen. And my stories are about ordinary women doing ordinary things, and I think that people can kind of recognise that ordinary place can actually turn very scary, and somewhere that's beautiful on the top of a hill with beautiful scenery what's beautiful about it, the isolation, can actually then become the threat. And so the fact that they are so isolated and it is so dark makes it scary. What we love about it can actually turn against us. So I've tried to write a story that takes the reader on a journey about, it's not just about fear, but it's about survival and how to survive and how to find inside you what you need to survive. And I think that they're things as women that are really important to know, and to know that we can dig deep and do what we need to do. I really enjoyed writing a story about somebody who needed to face her worst nightmare, and it's not just about the nightmare, but it's actually about finding what's inside her to get through. And we all know that in some way or another in life, and it's hopefully a reminder that we can do that we can do it, we can get through. I personally wanted to write a thriller where the woman was the hero, and got to play the traditional hero's role or the man's role. I mean, so many thrillers are about men being the hero and racing in to save the woman, and most often the female characters get to be either murdered or tied up and rescued, and you know, kind of wait for the hero of the story to come and get them. And I wanted to write a story where the woman got to do all of that, where she got to save the day and save herself in the process, and not just the physical, to actually be able to do those physical elements, and as well as the emotional side of it. I'm very happy to be here at Círculo. I've had to have the opportunity to come to Barcelona and say hello to readers. I'm very glad that you'll have the opportunity to read my scary book. I hope you enjoy it.